This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler and Agins, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
So, hello, my name is Michael Morton. I am here on behalf of GNEISS, and GNEISS stands for Global Network Encryption Investment Security Service, and our motto is reinventing the financial wheel. So first, a show of hands, who knows blockchain and Bitcoin? All right, so good, most of you. So I'll just go over Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin is a type of digital currency. It is not regulated by the government. It is regulated by math and computers. That is what gives it its edge because it operates independently of a central bank. Quick note, central banks our founding fathers specifically warned against because they knew the amount of corruption that could happen with central banks, which is what this app dominantly fights. The current financial problem, as you see, is that there's one clearinghouse, which means you have one point of trust that you have to trust. And all right, let's even say they're the most ethical people in the world. That's still one point of hacking failure. That's one point of system failure. Regardless of whether they're corrupt or not, it's one point of failure, and that's not good when you're dealing with a big financial system that everybody relies on. Current financial landscape hasn't been changed or innovated in decades, and traditional banks have financial incentives not to innovate because then they wouldn't make money on things like Western Union and stuff like that. So the solution is Bitcoin and blockchain technologies. Blockchain technologies are trustless. They do not have a single point of failure. They provide instant access to audit the entire history, provides instant liquidity online, and data is stored on many computers, not just one. Here's a difference in comparison between gold, Bitcoin, and dollar. The two biggest of these that you should look at are spendable and scarcity. Any currency that's not scarce is not going to be worth much for long. So, and any currency that's not spendable, obviously, is not a currency. And the only thing that Bitcoin has that the gold or dollar doesn't have is shininess. So if people can get over that it's not shiny, it's better in every other aspect. Underlying blockchain magic. Here's where things get really interesting. So right now, GNEISS is centralized with my website that's up and running, but the future plans of GNEISS are to have it completely not only decentralized, but distributed. The difference is decentralized, there's still some sort of centralization. And technically you could say there's some sort of centralization even past this with Ethereum, blockchain, and GNEISS. But the reason why these are distributed and not decentralized is because anybody can download the app through the distributed and work through the Ethereum network. Meaning eventually you can download my app and you won't need to use my servers. Here's a business model. We're the world's first Ethereum blockchain barter system. You can create a DAO, distributed autonomous organizations. Basically what that's for is it's not Skynet coming to take the jobs. What it is it's a way to set keys so that people can work together and that there's no one person in charge. If you have 3 people with keys that you need 2/3 of the people to unlock a contract, then you don't need lawyers all of a sudden because you can trust that the keys are there, and as long as you are doing that well, then you shouldn't have any problems. You can trade any asset possible by creating an equivalent crypto asset. So basically you're creating your own Bitcoin, and the coolest thing with my system is that you can do something that no other system can. You can back it up with Bitcoin or any other crypto asset. So let's say I'm a gold bullion exchange, I want to sell gold to China. Well, China doesn't know I have gold, or some investor in China doesn't know. So I create the crypto asset and then I lock it in what's called a smart contract. And what this does is it can lock Bitcoin or any other asset in it so that suddenly you don't have to know whether I have the gold or not because there's the collateral in the smart contract that if the amount of collateral ever breaches the amount that I owe, then it force liquidates and then the investors who invested in my gold instantly get their investment to then go ahead and reinvest in someone else. Go-to-market strategy. Since I already have everything built and I already have the core team of coders, if you wanted to invest in GNEISS, basically 85% would just go to YouTube. just because it's so new, the video is the easiest way to explain it. And then the other 15% to marketing. This is estimated user acquisition and profits. I went by the model of Facebook because Facebook, you're sharing photos and stuff, but with my app, you're sharing currencies. So I'm sure it'll have a similar growth pattern, if not better, since now we have social media. Okay. And then accomplishments today. We finished the white paper. The white paper's on the website. The alpha's completed. You can go to GNEISS.io to sign up an account and start creating your own Bitcoin. NEISS core team completed, and NEISS commercial set to be completed at the end of March.
All right, thanks, Mike. A lot of information, guys.
Yeah, questions?
I have a feeling there's probably somebody out there who might be more qualified than me to comment.
Right.
I mean, this is heavily fintech. It's hard for me to say. From the standpoint of the pitch itself, I still don't clearly understand. Maybe I can get my head around the value proposition because I've read enough about Bitcoin and blockchain to understand kind of where it can add value in the financial supply chain. Mm-hmm. I, as a consumer, don't know how or why I would use it or how it would be better than how I transact today, or kind of collateralize contracts or make investments. It depends on if it's an app that's downloaded and used by consumers and you're going to do kind of a transactional model where it's a fee per transaction thing or whatever. If that's how you're doing it, I think consumers are still very in the dark on this thing, and so the level of education. My concern with that is not is that it's expensive to educate a market, right? And so I gotta think about that and understand maybe how. Tell me who's signing up now and how did you get them? And is something as simple as a YouTube video enough to actually create the trust in a consumer that they'll transact over Bitcoin using blockchain? I mean, that still to me is a little bit of a gray area.
That's the idea. The whole point about blockchain is that they can audit their account balances at any time. So you don't really have to trust me at that point. You can go there and see through third-party sources in the blockchain that money is there. So that's one barrier that eliminates trust right there. To answer your question of who's dominantly using it, right now I went on some of the Bitcoin groups. I haven't really actually marketed it all that much. This is the first presentation I'm giving on this.
Okay.
But I've gotten other Bitcoin users to just use it just to play around, just to create their own coin. And the cool part is I can incorporate with the backend in businesses, and they can have all their system run on the Ethereum blockchain that's basically hack-proof, and they don't even need to know what Bitcoin is. Mm-hmm. So I can work with other third-party companies to put NEISS in their system, and their customers don't even have to know what a blockchain is.
So do you have any, is there proprietary technology or anything that's protectable in the way that you've implemented?
No. See, here's the thing. There's a Supreme Court case, I think it was 2004, that you can't patent anything that has to do with smart contracts and banking.
Okay.
So it's not patentable, and honestly, I like that because I don't like monopolies, and I would like competition, because right now I have none.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a route to market standpoint, it feels to me like you have to could sit behind somebody who has the consumer's kind of attention. PayPal, Venmo, these guys are all looking to kind of get into this world somehow in a credible and meaningful way, but they also have the simplicity on the front end with a consumer to know how to get money out of their pocket and send it to somebody else. That part to me, I just don't understand enough about that market.
There definitely is a learning curve.
Yeah, but it seems like it could be a feature in something else, I guess is my point. So I don't know, is there also maybe a licensing play? I mean, I always have heartburn personally around technology plays that are direct to consumer in terms of customer acquisition just because of the cost of that. Could you also license to an enterprise player that's already got transactions and stuff flowing?
Yeah, we can market both to businesses and customers. Both have the same thing. Really, each account has an e-vault, and what I meant the e-vault to be is to do anything Wall Street can. So that we put any banking structure that's available. I could give you a loan, I could give you even derivatives on the markets and stuff like that, without any registered, and there's collateral behind it. Okay. So I mean, it's basically meant for investors to not lose their money, make sure their money is always there, make sure it's always auditable, and to make sure that people have the power of banking, not just Wall Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. It's a very big idea, as you know.
It is.
So, yeah.
So I love your passion, and I can tell you're super smart. I would love to know a little bit more about your background and why you started this.
Okay, so my background, I went to NC State.
Okay.
I was going to major in applied mathematics with a minor in physics. Dropped out of college, a little too slow for me. And they don't teach this too. I mean, why would I go to college and learn stuff that does not apply to me? So yeah, so I dropped out. I first started with finance in Bitcoin. This has been in a 1.5-year development. And to be honest, this is really to fight the banks. Like, I mean, granted, I'm an entrepreneur, I want to save the world. I think the banking system's the first way we do it.
Okay. So is that why you started it?
Yeah, that's why I started it, because I went down a rabbit hole of knowing some bad players in power right now. So I just tried to fix that.
And did you look and see who else was addressing or maybe not addressing to figure out, if you could win, like ultimately like what your differentiation was going to be? Because I know Bitcoin, but I don't understand all the mechanics behind it.
Yeah.
So you obviously do.
Yeah.
But in terms of the investors are ultimately getting mass adoption, you're going to have to translate that story a little bit more, I think, clearly, concretely to say this is why, this is the problem, this is ultimately how we solve it uniquely in a very simple way.
Yeah. Well, so Bitcoin's like our gold standard. We price everything in Bitcoin,
Okay.
but you can back it up with any other collateral. So like,
That's a really important
Yes.
point, I
Yeah.
think, because there's still a lot of apprehension around,
Yeah.
from the general consumer marketplace, and people don't understand there's a lot of apprehension around Bitcoin, so I think that's a really important point to bring out. I mean, at that point, you're just trying to intervene on any kind of transaction that a consumer might have that might otherwise be institutional, right?
Yep.
Trade a stock or, move money from an account to another account, or international wires. I mean, you could do a lot like that. Those use cases, I think, is the way to maybe explain, like, here are the 5 ways consumers typically, move money around or do transactions. Here's how we intervene on those transactions, and here's the fees to us, if any. If you're just going to save the world, that's cool. You're going to have to raise more money if that's all you're going to do.
Yeah,
if you're going to make some money, then how does that work? And
I forgot
yeah.
to go over that. Sorry, because I was running
Because
low.
obviously you're in fintech world, right? So like, I think there could be a lot of people in this local community. There's probably people out here in the audience, like I said, more qualified than me, who have great interest in what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But that would have to come down considerably to the below average
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
consumer like myself.
Absolutely. I mean, I
Yeah.
understood like a very tiny portion of what you were
Yeah.
talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
I
um,
understood less than that.
I think though that the point to that though is also be careful about using the Facebook adoption rate, because
Yeah.
Facebook was simple. Facebook was about sharing pictures,
Yeah,
and this is not the same thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that it won't. You can't get there. I think it's about how you attach yourself to maybe enterprise players, and then again, it's back to that use cases and really making it simple for the customer.
Really, I think people just need to try it, because once you try it, I mean, I've made it very intuitive, very simple, and I mean, as simple as possible. And you can't make it any more simple than that, or else it
Yeah.
wouldn't work.
Well, and then that's an interesting point. Is then how do you get people to try it?
Yeah,
If that is truly what is going to be the game changer. Everything around whether you're doing YouTube or whatever, all the activities are. How do you just get this to be something that people try?
Well, first I would go over the Bitcoin crowd and try to get them on board, specialize the market a little bit, and then as Bitcoin gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which it's obviously doing, it's now at an all-time high again, then that'll bring other people on. And some other Bitcoin apps, for example, Open Bazaar, they're like a Bitcoin eBay kind of company. They already have 100,000 users, and we have like 60 right now.
Okay.
So we're getting up there, and it's just a learning curve.
Yeah.
There's no other way to
60.
do it. 60.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just launched.
You
like
just started,
December
yeah.
13th.
I think you're smart to attack that community first, because obviously you need some early adopters.
Yeah.
And they'll be your evangelists.
Yeah.
So they'll be the people who are hopefully also talking about it on YouTube, not just you.
And,
Yeah, but I also think from a marketing standpoint, right? I have great respect for your point of view on this and why you want to do it and the importance of it. But in an everyday consumer's life, they are not going to accept any friction in a financial transaction just to save the world. They might tell you they want to, and they might say it's important, and then they're going to go back and use PayPal and transfer money in their bank. So you got to figure out how to bridge.
For now.
Yeah, for now. You got to figure out how to bridge that though, because I think that's a. There's already friction in financial transactions because, as you said, the system is pretty poorly managed and it delivers.
and honestly, I think that's going to be the biggest adoption, is just how poorly planned the current banking system is. I mean, we're leveraged 30-1. We did nothing but print money since 2008. We're off a gold standard. Like, That's what I think is going to bring the biggest adoption, is just because anybody who understands the banking system as it is, they're going to want another system that they can trust. And my system's completely audible along with the smart contracts that allow you to see the collateral behind the contract.
Yeah.
But I think that Steve's point is it just has to be easy, and people don't want to necessarily think about this.
Yeah.
You're passionate about this, which is amazing. That's what you need to be as an entrepreneur. But you need to put yourself in the shoes of the customer and think through from their perspective.
Yeah.
The person that is ultimately not, doing going and majoring in physics. And I mean, the person who just wants to just pay for their coffee and not think about it.
Yeah.
Or transfer money. And so I think that's getting back to the use cases and just making it super simple. And that is the element of storytelling. It has to be super easy and super simple and remove the friction.
Yeah, or change your business model completely and find pools of transactions that you can intervene in more efficiently and create an efficient marketplace. Find some place where there's already 1,000 people moving tens of thousands or millions of dollars annually and go intervene on those transactions. That's another way, but that's more of it's a different kind of business model to kind of market yourself than a consumer model.
Yeah, we're marketing currently both though, because the more people we bring on to the GNEISS platform, the more liquidity we can bring to whatever assets that they bring to the platform. Mm-hmm. So it's really a system where it doesn't matter whether you're a business or individual, as long as you own an e-vault, everybody's on fair ground.
Yeah.
How are you making money?
We're doing it off the transactions. So transactions, I didn't get to go over that. It's like 50 cents to create your own Bitcoin, to send your own crypto asset. It's like somewhere in between 2 to 5 cents. These prices fluctuate based on the markets. Okay. The cool thing is I don't even accept dollars. My business deals completely with Bitcoin and Ethereum, which helps with jurisdictions and law a lot. So I get paid in Ethereum and Bitcoin. I don't get paid in dollars, which can transfer to dollars, but I'd rather keep them in Bitcoin and Ethereum.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah, no, they really did hit my points. I mean, my Uber advice to you would be, you need to get a kind of a. I'm not trying to insult your presentation today, but I mean. No. I have no doubt that you're super smart and you're an expert, and there are people out in the world that would be like, oh my God, you are our Bill Gates. But to anywhere, forums like this, it's just like, I'm like, so Andrew, who seems really smart, and that's what I knew about you as you're going through, is talking about trading gold bullion on this new system that he's created. It's just like, and using Facebook as a model of how you're going to get customers. I'm like, it's not going to happen. Yeah. I mean, but I have no doubt that there are rooms full of people that were like, oh my God, this guy is the savior. We're going to use your technology. You described a technology and a platform which was very theoretical. It was not a business model, to normal people.
It was impossible before Ethereum was created like a year and a half ago. So.
I have no doubt.
Is there there's a bunch of there's a special fintech thing in town here, right? At least once a year. Is that not true?
So there's the Next Money. Did anyone hear from Next Money? No. Yeah. You guys do anything with blockchain?
Not so much today, but it's on the agenda for future meetings.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's groups like Next Money, and then there's the FinTech Initiative, and then there's the QC FinTech Accelerator.
That's what I was thinking of, the FinTech Accelerator, yeah.
I applied to all of those, by the way. Maybe not Next Money, or I don't know if they have that.
Yeah, Accelerator starts pretty soon. But it starts pretty soon. Just look up QC FinTech, and you meet some other companies, and sometimes some of the companies that go through that are dealing with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I did want to ask, is there anybody in here who sort of lives in this world that has a comment?
Have you already deployed your DAO?
No, not yet. The DAO is not in the alpha, it is in the beta, but you can create your own crypto assets.
Are you adding a amendment clause to your DAO for the investors to change it?
Yes, there will be changes that can be enacted, but that's kind of something that needs to be thought about a lot, because we don't want to change something that investors will invest in a coin and then go back and find later there's a higher interest rate or something like that. So you will be able to change the contract within reason.
You mentioned that you are a barter system. Have you integrated with Slockit?
I have not. Even though I guess you could integrate Slockit investments, any Ethereum standard token, you can integrate with my system. So you can bring other cryptocurrencies on the Ethereum network to my system.
I have a seat up here for you, brother. Come on.
All right, let's get Michael